Over 40 years ago, Kim and I embarked on a ministry journey that has now become a global network through the power of the internet. As part of this pioneering work, we are gathering people from all over the world to worship together, grow in our faith, and inspire hope through an uplifting message. We are dedicated to reaching out with God's message of hope and love to all without discrimination or judgment. We invite you to join our House of Destiny free membership that allows you to connect with members from around the world. Through our prayer wall, you can post your requests and have others join us in prayer. It's so powerful when the saints gather and believe for a breakthrough. We invite you to join today. Simply click the online church login and sign up. Partnerships are vital to our global outreach, enabling us to take the love and hope of Jesus Christ to those who need it most. Our Boots on the Ground Partnership Program physically ministers to those in desperate situations all over the world. The Israel Partnership furthers Kim's legacy of outreach to Israel and Jewish people worldwide. We invite you to become a partner today. We are here for you, and we have worked hard to provide the resources and tools to help you grow in your faith. Join us today and be part of a community that inspires hope, brings restoration to life, and often healing from the past. Together, we can make a difference, and we thank you for your ongoing support.
Okay. Hello, everybody. But I'm hearing sounds. Why am I hearing sounds? Okay. Can they see me? Okay. Because I can't see myself today. Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing okay today. I've got lots and lots of stuff for you today. So much. Let me say hello to everyone because I'm seeing a lot of you here. Kim Fenn. Hi, Kim. And George. Kim, you're in Australia. We were just talking about Australia. My daughter was asking what deadly insects are in Australia. My husband and I were trying to think what was there. Let's see. Michael is in Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville's a beautiful place. I've been to Jacksonville, Florida. Oh, Nina Rocks is in communist New York. Welcome. Okay, so everybody, if you're seeing where I am, I'm at the studio because normally I do these from home, which I prefer to do them at home. It's just more personal. Oh, we've got someone else from Florida. I like my Florida people. But today I've decided to do it from here, just so we can have a better internet connection because something's wrong with mine. And I think that's been the problem, but I'm not sure. So what we're doing today is some serious code breaking. I have had such a week. I've been looking at prophecies. It all happened because I was scrolling through Twitter. Now, here's the thing. Because I've studied Dad's prophecies so much over the years, I've got it to where they just stay in my brain. So I'll hear the echoes of them all the time. And, as I see things, it'll come up, and that's a little God thing too, I think. But so I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw this image, okay? And just as I saw the image, this echo in my mind, I could hear my dad's voice prophesying. And he said, I see a maroon color and a diamond and a triangle. And for years, this has been a mystery to me. And so I've collected today the prophecies I want to show you. They're two very short clips, but they're dealing with this in particular because it's been such a mystery for me. And I talked to a few people about it this week as well to try and figure out. But I actually I'm not coming to you uh, just to inform today. I need your participation. I need your help. So if you guys, as we go through this today, any information you have to share with me, that's what I'm wanting to do with these lives. I don't want it to be me telling you stuff. I want us to be able to have this interactive experience because I don't know everything. Like I know the prophecies, but a lot of things are a mystery to me. And then I end up finding out things sometimes that everybody knew about and I didn't know. Or, I missed it in the news. So it means a lot that you've joined me here today. And if you're continuing to join me, that means that we're on the right track, right? So again, I'm going to be playing you some prophecies, but I want to go over some news first because I went through the news this week, and my goodness. So I just wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to hop on here. We've got Angel Cake from Indiana. Angel Cake. Yesterday, I made strawberry shortcakes with the little Angel food cake, little mini cakes, and I made cut up strawberries with whipped cream. It's so hot here. It's very hot. And so we're thinking of eating a lot of fruit and things for summer and keeping ourselves hydrated. We're in Tennessee. It's very hot. And I know we're going through a bit of a heat wave right now. Please, nobody panic. I don't think the world is going to cook up this summer. But there's been a lot of fear mongering. So don't be afraid. Just keep yourselves cool. Shauna, you approached me in Branson. Email me, Shauna. Shauna Thompson, you said you talked to me in Branson. Email me at codebreakers@houseofdestiny.org. I'm going to type it in the chat here. Anybody else with information, if you've watched this or if you watch this after the fact, I'm just typing this in here. Do feel free to use this email address and email me with any information. You guys have been so helpful. And, I had planned to go through some emails today. Possibly, we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to have time, but there were a couple of questions in there I kind of wanted to clear up. I might have to do that next week, though. This week, also, I'm just getting through my announcements. So also this week, what happened was we interviewed Mike Lindell, and that's going to go up tomorrow. My mother and I interviewed him. And all of you, if you've been watching me on these lives, you know that I am very shy about Mike Lindell because of my embarrassing first encounter with him, which was in Ohio in, I believe, January or February of 2021. Two. When did I start? What year is it now? 2023. Okay, then it would have been 2022. And it was my second time at Reawaken America. We were in Ohio. It was freezing. There was snow everywhere. And I presented my dad's prophecies to Eric, or to everybody, but Eric Trump was seeing them for the first time, and he was side stage. And when I got off the stage, I was meeting Eric Trump, and it was yay, yay, hello, hello. And then Eric started talking to Charlie, and I turned, and there was Mike Lindell, and I went, Mike Lindell, and grabbed him because we were all squeezed together on the side of the stage. So there wasn't room, and I just grabbed him, and I could see by the look on his face he had no idea who I was. He had just stepped onto the side stage there, so he didn't know what was going on or who I was, and I could tell that he was a little taken aback, like, who is this woman? And so in the moment I felt embarrassed, and then I didn't know what to do, and I started straightening his jacket and dusting him off. I'm so sorry, Mr. Lindell. I know you don't know who I am. So I've never introduced myself to him again. But Clay Clark intervened because he wanted us to interview Mike Lindell. So we made the arrangement. Clay Clark helped to arrange that with us, and we interviewed him. And so that will be up on the House of Destiny network tomorrow for our Saturday broadcast. It's Conversations with Mike Lindell. And it was so great. And he was such an easy person to interview. It was very good. And so we were very excited. And, we're doing the My Pillow sponsorship now. And so if you do shop at My Pillow, and I encourage you to do that, don't go to Target and give them your money. You're going to buy towels and sheets and shoes and pajamas and mattresses and mattress toppers and duvets and, of course, pillows. You can go to My Pillow and use the promo code Kim Clement, and you will get 80% off, I think it is right now. And they're having the 20th anniversary of My Pillow. So they have the version 2.0 pillow. They have lovely sandals and slippers and all kinds of things. So if you're in the market for those things, I recommend you go to My Pillow and use the Kim Clement promo code, because you'll get a big discount, and your money, you know where your money's going. It's going to something righteous. So I don't think I'm going to need this. I'm going to have to use my phone because I couldn't log in there. So we'll put this away, and we have our scripture verse for the day. And there's a reason I'm using this. I'm a little bit nervous about doing this today. I don't actually know how much I'm going to actually say, because Trey Smith warned me we don't want to lose our channel, YouTube channel. Rumble, we're fine. Hello, Rumble. We're free as birds, but YouTube, not so much. Okay, so today, the scripture verse, really it's Revelation 3, verse 7 through 9. I shouldn't have done it that way, but Revelation 3, verse 7 through 9. But I'm only going to do verse 9. So this is going to be our scripture verse today. Have a look. Can I see it? I can't see myself today. Okay, so it says, "Indeed, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Indeed, I will make them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you." So the thing that got me was the synagogue of Satan part. And whatever we think about that, it was interesting to me, because Trey Smith is the one who told me to look at this verse when he heard about the prophecy I'm going to play for you today. So remember this. This is our verse today. And any input, let's see what people are saying. Just see what you're saying. I love doing this because I can see what you're saying. I want the interactive. I don't want to feel like I'm just talking to you. I like to be like this. How's our feed today? Everything great? Oh, wonderful. So it is my house. We have to fix that. Okay. So we've got Miami, Florida. A lot of Florida. It's hot in Ohio, Lynn says. Hi, Deborah. Alabama. Welcome. Tanya has My Pillows and loves them. Thank you, Tanya. See? I told you. Okay. So, and then over here in Rumble, we have New Hampshire and Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Southern California, Twin Peaks, and Fort Mill, South Carolina. Oh, South Carolina, so pretty. Well, welcome everybody. I'm going to keep paying attention to this. Anytime you have input on anything I'm talking about, please feel free to share it with me. Okay, so let's get it going. We're going to pull up some news clips. I'm not able to see what's on the screen right now today, so I'm going to be opening it in my phone. If you're wondering why I have my phone, I'll probably turn it off, the sound, so nobody calls while we're doing this. Okay. So let's put up One News One. I'm going to open it too. So we have our top headlines. Okay. I'm going to want to try to start doing this every week as well. Sort of a brief review. What happened in the news? So you'll see, is it up? Okay, you'll see there the top 10 headlines the media didn't tell you this week. It's a tweet. So you're seeing retweet and follow. That's just the lady who posted this that I follow. Okay. Number 10, it's a countdown, so we'll start at 10. Number 10, suspicious circumstances surround tight-lipped Obama chef drowning case. So this was odd. I don't know a lot about this, but worth talking about. So apparently, Obama's chef, who was the chef in the White House, was found in the pond behind his house. Apparently, there was a paddle boat accident. And I don't know if the Obamas were around or not, but it's a bit strange. Lot of conspiracies going around. I don't like to make accusations when the news is so fresh. You know, Dan Bongino always says you wait 48 hours. He's got the 48-hour rule. So whenever news breaks, you should wait 48 hours. But I think it's been longer than 48 hours, and there's some suspicious things going on there. And I do believe some of the alien highlights we've had in the news this week are probably to distract from some of these other things. So there was something odd happening there. Let's see if anybody has anything to say about that. Paddleboard. Paddleboard. What is a paddleboard? It's not a boat. It's a little thing then, obviously. It's a small thing in the pond. Yes, because apparently it's quite strange that he even drowned. He was supposed to have been a good swimmer, and I'm not sure, but this was the headline. The police log left, I heard that the police log left the description blank. This is coming from Rumble. Thank you, my Rumble friends. You are informing me. Yes, now I did read that about that they, and all the other police logs from the day are filled in except for that one. So there's a little bit of covering up. We don't know what happened. Now, I don't want to accuse Obama of anything, but it is a bit strange. You stand on it and paddle. I hate those things. Those things terrify me. You know, you see people in those paddle boards in the ocean. I would never do that. But even if you fell in a pond, I mean, what happened to the? I'm just reading your. Yes, Magda Pringle. That is the scripture verse today. I'll tell you why in a little bit. It's like a surfboard. Okay, I know what you mean now. Okay, so it's one of those you stand on and you paddle through. Why is he doing that in a pond? It's supposed to be a small pond. My cousin's here with me, so. All right, so there's the Obama thing. Let's keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll revisit that next week and see what's coming out of that. Water table shows the pond was only 4 feet deep. That's what I'm saying. It's a small little pond. Why is he doing that on a pond? The whole thing's suspicious. There is something suspicious. I told you, this is the title for today is Code Breakers Conspiracies. I'm going to write it down so we don't forget. Code Breakers Conspiracy. So everything we're going to do today, I don't know if it's what it is. I'm asking for your help. I'm not making any declaration. Conspiracies. Yeah, okay, make sure I can spell it. Right. Code Breakers Conspiracies today. Okay, there it is. We are unabashedly, unashamedly going to go through conspiracy theories today. So again, nothing is, I'm not saying this is what it is. I'm saying I'm looking, it's got my attention, all right? A number of things. Now, where's my big one? This is the one. This is the I know I've got all these dry erase boards, but they help me keep my brain in order. I have to see and I have to be able to quickly write and then erase and then write. So as you can see, my board is a mess. This was my week. Okay, I filled this board this week. Now, this isn't going to make sense to you, but I remember what's there. So we're going to go with that. Okay, so I'll remember what's going on here. All right, so I've told you about the synagogue of Satan in Revelation 3. This is the verse. Now, that is being addressed to the Philadelphia church, that verse. To the Philadelphia church. Mom always says that she wants us to be the Philadelphia church. So that's worthy of note because that's not why I picked the scripture verse. It just happens to be. I remembered my mother saying and this was to the Philadelphia church. So remember Philadelphia. And I'll tell you in a minute because I had a conversation again. I called Trey Smith the other day, yesterday, and we talked about this. And he actually told me I need to be careful today so I don't lose this channel. So I don't know if I'm actually going to say the name of the people that I'm looking at. So anyway, I think before I go there, I'm going to have a look through these news clips a little bit more. But just so you know, this has been a full week. I don't have a guest today because Michael and Dell couldn't do the two dates in the week, and it was okay because you guys know I'm so nervous around him. I don't think I could have handled him on my own here. So it's best that he's not, because usually we have our guests join me on a Friday here. Yes, now someone's talking about the Clintons had a chef. Mountain Mama 1776. The Clintons had a chef die hiking. So a similar thing happened with the chefs. And I think these chefs are in their houses cooking for them and they're hearing everything. Yes, and they're getting suicided. We all love Trey Smith. He's such a blessing. Everybody, please pray for his dad. His dad's heart. The Church of Philadelphia, brotherly love. Why are you telling me to write it on paper? I like the dry erase board. Debbie's telling me I must write on paper. I like the dry erase board because it's easy to carry around. And I'm walking around with kids and bags. Like when I leave here, I'm going to have bags and children and all sorts of things. So anyway, okay, let's just go through these news things because I want to hear this is all this week. So James Comer says President Biden used offshore bank accounts to hide bribe money. Shocking. I don't think we even need to cover it. I mean, it's so obvious what's going on with him. He's, God help us. No, no, stay on the first one. Yeah, pull that one back up. I'm at number 9. The number 9's obvious. We don't even need to bother. Number 8. Early reports reveal that Pfizer was aware of myocarditis side effects, yet rushed the distribution of the COVID vaccine anyway. Look, you guys know how I feel about this. The fact that they forced this thing on people, that they made it so that nobody could sue them for damages, and that nobody could know the ingredients or what was put in this thing for 75 years. So we'll all be dead by the time they're releasing what is in this. So, and we've had enough voices shouting, actual doctors shouting that was silenced. It's proven on that Twitter was working with the FBI and whoever else, and they were getting money. And anyway, we're praying for anybody who got that vaccine or who's frightened by that. Don't be frightened. I don't believe it's the mark of the beast, so don't be frightened about that either. I really don't. But this is the beginning. This is the beginning, and they are putting chips in people now. So anyway, we're going to pray for God to help us to see the right way through this mess. Okay, the next thing, is it up? Okay. The next thing, Biden's DOJ drops campaign finance charges connecting their second largest donor, Sam Bankman-Fried, to the Democrat Party. Now, I was very mad about this because everybody saw what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. He lost everybody's money and gave extraordinary donations to the Democrat Party. And anybody else doing the things that he did would be sitting in prison, and they've just let him go. I mean, is it just let go? Do you guys know? Is that the end of it? Looking to see. You guys, it'll take a second. Nothing will happen to the ruling class. We know that. Okay. So next, Mark Zuckerberg's ex-rival. So yeah, Elon Musk has now renamed Twitter X. So if you are sharing Twitter links, you're going to see an X there instead of a little bird anymore. Yeah, that's not so interesting. We'll just leave that there. Office for National Statistics report reveals that COVID vaccine have 91%, can't read it there, higher death risk than the unvaccinated. Well, I remember everybody telling people who weren't vaccinated that we were murderers, selfish people. We're not. I think that we should have the freedom to choose those things. Okay, Mitch McConnell froze. Did you guys see Mitch McConnell freeze? I wish I had video. Did you see Mitch McConnell freeze? Mid-sentence. He's there with the press. Everybody's around him. If you haven't seen, I'm sure you've seen. If you haven't seen, mid-sentence, he just freezes. So to me, it looked like he was having a mild stroke. And I think the thing that we need to think about here, regardless of our opinions of Mitch, because I'm not a fan, I think he's been there way too long. And I think a big problem is that there are not term limits. And my whole life I thought there were term limits because the president has one. So I thought everybody had a term limit. And I don't know if it used to be. Did it used to be? And it changed? Because I don't know. Yes, somebody said mini stroke. You see, it did look like that. Like he was having something was going on with him, and he's had a few falls. And he's old now, and he needs to. If these things are happening, he is not going to be capable to do that job. And whether he's a good or bad guy, I don't know. He must. I don't like a lot of things. I think he's establishment. I think he's a rhino. I think he's in cahoots with the Uniparty. That's my opinion. That's what it looks like to me. However, I don't wish ill on anybody, and I am quite experienced with the effects of stroke on a person. It's a terrible thing. So we must pray for him and say, thank you, Mitch, but it's time to go home and let your family take care of you. He's too old. And Feinstein, too. I mean, they're wheeling her out there. They're telling these people what to say. It's not good. So keep your eye on that. And then we've got LeBron James's son has had suffered a cardiac arrest as well. And the Grammy-winning singer Tori Kelly, who's 30 years old. Now, I don't know who Tori Kelly is. I've never heard of her. I'm very out of touch with whatever music is out nowadays. I've lost that. So, but they both had blood clots around the heart, and we know LeBron James was really pushing that vaccine, and so people are worried about this because so many young people are just dropping from cardiac arrest. They've got myocarditis. So really, above anything else, we need to pray for them. Pray for everybody, because it was a terrible thing that happened. People were pressured, they were frightened, and lied to. And so whatever the actual story ends up being here, we need to pray for all of these people, because even if someone was deceived, you still need to pray for them and forgive them. We are Christians. The next one. The Biden White House FBI pressured Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg to censor Americans. We know that. Zuckerberg. I have no patience with that guy. I can't stand. I will not use Facebook anymore. The ministry, we used our Facebook ministry pages, but I left Facebook a few years ago, and I did that because I could see what was going on, and I didn't like it. And then remember when there was some kind of hack or something, and we all had to change. It logged everybody out of Facebook, and everybody had to put in a new password. I never went back in. I just never went back. So that was the end of that. And Instagram too. I no longer go to either of those things. The censorship is just outrageous, and so I just don't feel free to speak there. I actually feel very uncomfortable and unwelcome. So I don't go there. But we keep the ministry pages there, because wherever there is a space, we are going to make sure that we are present there, and that we are there for everybody. But I personally won't use it. The only one I actually use is Twitter, and my mother uses Telegram. So that's the ones we actually use. The other ones, we'll send you the information in bulk to all the platforms, so you'll see what our broadcasts are and what's happening at the House of Destiny. It's very important. We want to make sure that everybody on all these platforms has access to what we're doing, and not only to the prophecies, because that's very important, but also what we are doing at the House of Destiny Network now, which is very important for right now. And it all is tied together. So that was the top 10. The first, number one, I didn't do number one. Trump is going to impose the death penalty on human traffickers when elected. I think that's a wonderful idea. Hopefully that deters people from, because it's a disgrace what's happening. If what I've heard is true, and the most extreme things, and I won't repeat it, but the most extreme things are just the most horrifying things I've ever heard, and I hope they are not true. But if they are, then yes, the death penalty needs to be for these people. It's outrageous. So there's that. And then the next thing, why have you put that away? Do you need it? No. Okay. Okay. So we've gone through the news there. Now the other one is, put number 3 up. I want you to see this one. I'm going to open it up on my phone so I can have a look. So the picture in the bottom, it actually was a video, and I took a screenshot. I just wanted you to see in the picture, that's Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, accompanied by Secret Service protection. So Hunter Biden has Secret Service protection, and we know that because of how much the Secret Service is kind of integrated into all his legal issues. However, as you can see in the headline, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. revealed that the Biden administration denied his request for Secret Service protection with after now 88 days being a candidate. So he should have, and everybody else who runs for president has this, but not Robert Kennedy Jr. Now, many of you know that that I've been looking at Robert Kennedy Jr. for a while. Actually, before any of this was in the news, because I found that prophecy of my dad's about the Irishman in the White House and what would begin in 2015 and 16, he said it would begin there, but there would be this Irishman, and he saw the Kennedy connection. I played that for you guys before. It's a while now. And you remember I said, and the first time I spoke about it, a lot of people thought I was endorsing him for president. And so the very next week I put as my title, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will not be president. And I already know that. However, we are feeling, now we know that we don't agree with him on a lot of things. You know, he is on the liberal side, but he's not a lunatic. And he has stood up and has started to talk about certain things that trigger them. And now they're all attacking him, as I'm sure you've seen. And, the way I see it, uh, I'm not against him having a place in the administration. Now, people are saying VP. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge and understanding of politics to start projecting that kind of a thing. However, I'm telling you, I feel good about Robert Kennedy Jr. so far. Or maybe you'll change my mind. I don't know. Maybe you'll change my mind. Maybe we'll realize it's not. But I do feel that he could have a place. And I think my dad was seeing something to do with this. He only caught a few glimpses, but it was enough for me to say, huh. And so I've been talking about this for a while. And as time has progressed, he has become not only announced a run for presidency on the Democrat side, and we know they're not going to give it to him, so he won't get it. But at the end of the primary stuff and all that, when that's established, I believe that there might be a place for him with Trump. We know that Trump was very good friends with his cousin, JFK Jr. I've heard rumor that Trump wears RFK, I mean, JFK's watch. I don't know if that's true, but I need to actually ask someone who's around him because I can't actually do that. He might be a secret partner. You see, I do feel like that too. I don't know, but I do feel, and definitely Trump's people and the people around him, even General Flynn, Roger Stone. Roger Stone's actually flipped a little bit, turned his head toward him a little bit, and he's been putting up little things saying Trump Kennedy 2024. Which, if you look at that, it wouldn't. I don't know. I'm not against it. I'm just reading what you guys are saying here. Klaus Schwab is offering people $2,000 a month to put the chip in their hand. Good heavens. Someone in Ireland. Ah, Bobby D. Welcome. We're talking about the Irishman in the White House. And yes, RFK is telling the truth. It's the stance on abortion. That's right, Jennifer. His stance on abortion we disagree with. But you never know, just if he's in there, what if he changes his mind, and I keep encouraging people, we get upset with a lot of people. Maybe we'll say someone like Robert Kennedy Jr., there's so much potential there, but we disagree with him about certain things. We just have to pray that God can change his mind, because why couldn't he? And people can be redeemed, people can get saved, and isn't our job to do that? And instead of rejecting people, I think we should do everything we can to try to do what we're supposed to do as Christians and tell them about Jesus and show them what being a true Christian is about, that it's not a bunch of religious ceremony that means nothing, that this is a relationship, and that when you have that relationship, your experience as a human being and your perspective is completely different. He can have a heart change, that's right. You mama in Montana or West Virginia, where are you? I can't understand what your thing is. 1776. You're on today. We're on the same page. Some people don't want Kennedy at all. Look, I understand. I'm not endorsing him. I'm just saying it's worthy of note that something is here, and there is I feel like there's a need to for reconciliation or to be made right, because the Kennedy family, they're what happened to JFK, which is now everywhere as well because of the classification, and things are going to be released and they're not going to be released, and who knows. But it's there, at the same time they're releasing information that is showing the truth about what happened to JFK. And I mean, that was a murder that happened just right out in the open in the middle of the street, and it was like a warning almost. Some people say that that was the coup. And did it disconnect? Yeah. Did you guys not hear me? Esther. Oh man, that Esther prophecy really stresses me out, because I've tried to figure out who Esther was and I've made big mistakes. And there's so many people, so many women who have said, I'm the Esther, and you are actually. Now, there's a spirit of Esther there, so it is yours to grab. But there is actually one person who I believe would have to be a person who has some kind of power, because Dad prophesied about Esther, very specific things that you would probably need to be a leader. Or for instance, for cartels to be afraid of a woman anointed by God, you would have to be in a position of leadership, I would think. Um, but we'll see, won't we? Right, I know Robert Kennedy's Jr.'s dad was also murdered. I know the whole story. This is coming from Mama again, 1776. We're on the same page. Yes, they lost me for a minute. Yeah, I did lose audio for a minute. I'm sorry about that. I said about there is a conspiracy, and again, we're doing conspiracies today. There is a conspiracy that it was a coup. It does look like that, you know. Time will tell us. Okay, so we've done the news. Make sure I stay on track, everybody. I know. I'm talking about the top 10. That's what I mean. So you saw what's happened there with RFK Jr. I just, the rejection of him by his own party because he's standing up for certain issues that trigger them tells you everything. Everything. And you know what? If they're going to reject him, I say, look, let's bring him over. We might disagree about abortion and some key things, but that we can pray. Can we not believe that God can change his heart on things? That perhaps he gets around the right people and he starts to understand not only what he's seen about the vaccines and about the CIA and whatever else, that he can see the greater evil involved there. And that there's a better solution than killing children. Killing the baby is not a solution. I understand that things happen to people, but murdering of the baby doesn't seem like the best choice. It seems like a barbaric choice. So I'm sorry. That's my view. And then I did have one more. We already talked about Sam Bankman-Fried, but I just wanted you to see the image there, because he gave $300,000 to the House committee members investigating him. The people that were investigating him, like Maxine Waters, he gave them money. So this kind of corruption is not only so blatant, it's very frustrating because it makes us feel like, you know what a very good analogy is? Mike Lindell, when we were interviewing him, because we pre-recorded the interview, will air tomorrow. Remember that, okay? Tomorrow is Saturday, and it will be up overnight, sometime in the middle of the night. It will be uploaded into the House of Destiny network.
1 a.m. It'll be up.
Okay, 1 a.m. Who's 1 a.m.? Anyone in the world. 1 a.m. it will be up for you. Okay, that's great. So it will be there, our interview with Mike Lindell. But what he said in that interview, one thing he said that, and you're going to hear him say it tomorrow, he made the analogy of our voice being silenced. And he said it's much like when you turn those old TVs and you turn it off and it goes to a little dot in the middle. That was the analogy he used, and I'm going to use that now. That's how we feel, like that. Nobody can hear us, but it's so obvious what's happening, you know? And so you look at stuff like this and you want to be fair and you want to say, well, I'm not going to jump the gun and start running with conspiracy theories before we have all the information. Because oftentimes, I mean, I've done it. I've shared something or talked about something and it turned out it wasn't true. It wasn't quite right. So I do like to be cautious. That's why I'm a little bit nervous about what I have to show you now. Because I've been warned that I need to be careful. Okay, so we're going to do it, all right? Okay, so here we go. It's a wild things to share with you guys today. You can see I'm nervous. Let me get something to drink. I'm sorry, I know I'm dressed a little bit more casual than normal today. It's just too hot. I'm in Tennessee and the humidity. I had to put my hair up and tank tops and loose clothing because it's just too hot. I'm staying hydrated. I've got a bit of a headache today. I don't think I'm hydrated. Anyway. Okay, so on March 20th of 2014, my dad, it was the first time my dad prophesied about ISIS, and this is before the beheading videos and people knew about ISIS. And so we have that actually as our, it was in, I think, in the old intro for Dad's broadcast. That was one of them. I think it was, but I know we've used it on Code Breakers. I know Sunil was doing it on Code Breakers. So, in the middle of that prophecy, he saw something. So he was prophesying about terrorist organizations. He was prophesying about all that kind of stuff. There's a lot there, and we can re-release that, just the prophecy section of that day again. So it's higher up in the YouTube line. It's on our channel. You can find it easier. So maybe we'll try to do that so you can see the whole thing in context. There's a lot he prophesied about. He prophesied about the Malaysian jet, called it the coffin on wheels. He's shouting, "You know nothing, you know nothing. You don't know, you're not supposed to know." Like, it was, very intense prophecy. And in the middle of all of this, he just sees this thing. And it was so weird that it stayed in my head and my heart for years now, because it was very specific what he saw. So he saw a maroon color and a triangle diamond. Okay. Why don't we? I'm trying to decide if we show the picture or if we should. I think we should play the prophecy. Okay. So I'm going to play a prophecy for you, or Lou's going to do it for me. We've got flies flying around. It's so hot. So this is from March 20th of 2014. Play it.
Mashu Galeh. Mashu
No,
Galeh.
wrong one.
There are colors that I see. There are colors that I see. A maroon color with a diamond, a triangle. This group has already clothed themselves. And there is a man that has stood within them who said, "We will cripple the nations." Did he not say it before? Did he not say it before the creation of man? "I will exalt myself above the stars of God. I will exalt myself upon the mount of the congregation of the north. I will be as the Most High God, El Elyon, the possessor of heaven and earth." He said it before, he's saying it now again, says the Lord. But once again, within a few months, you will look and say, "Is this the one that fooled the nations? Is this the one that had the nations petrified? This man who has stood and said, 'I will create the most formidable, exquisite terrorist group on earth, shall be exposed, for I will pull his pants down and show you what he really has. Nothing. He is impotent,' says the Lord. Therefore, as you pray this week, I will show you." And God said, "I will be glorified and I will bring down the enemy before your very eyes," says the Lord.
Okay. So you heard what he said. That prophecy has stayed with me for a really long time. You see what you guys are doing? I'm just checking your comments here because I'm wanting this to be interactive. Okay, I'm just looking at what you guys are saying. There's also a bit of a delay for me. Okay, so here's the thing. So what did he see? There are colors that I see. A maroon color and a diamond triangle. Right? So for years I've thought, because he said there's a man that stood amongst them that said, "We will create the most exquisite, formidable terror organization." And he's not talking about of the 11 Islamic extremist terror groups. He's talking about something else. This is a maroon color, and there's very specific imagery here, right? Show the picture. I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I see this. I want to look what it looks like. Okay, great. Okay, so you see this? You see this? Now, tell me that's not what he saw, right? Do you see a maroon color Do you see triangles and diamonds? So if you see the thing in the middle of his head, it's a diamond, but there's two triangles in it. Like, isn't that insane that he saw that? I'm reading your comments. I want to see what you guys are saying. No. Copper, the maroon is he's seeing a terrorist organization with the maroon color. Hi, Copper. It's so nice to see you. Copper's my friend for many years now. We've actually never met in person, but we've talked for years. I'm glad you're here, Copper. Actually, this is about the maroon. Those things may be true about diamonds and colors with marriage, but you see, people are starting to realize. You see this? Is it still up? Okay, good. Okay, so I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see this, and there's a certain kind of mafia. Do I say it? Because I've got that other link. My Lou is here with me, helping me make sure that I can give you guys pictures and video. He helps me every week, and you don't get to. Can they see you? You're not allowed to see. It's a secret. Where can we find you on Rumble? Patty, you can find us on. We have the Kim Clement Rumble channel. Is it called? What is our Rumble channel called again? He'll put it up there for you. We have a Rumble channel, and everything we post on YouTube, we post on Rumble as well, because Rumble is free as a bird. We worry about losing the YouTube channel, so we are trying to actually kind of, as many of you as want to go over to the Rumble, please do. Like if you're on YouTube and Rumble, please go and subscribe to the Kim Clement Rumble, because we do have. I mean, it's taken me years to build the following we have on this Kim Clement channel. When I first took over it, because the Kim Clement YouTube channel, my dad wasn't using it. YouTube wasn't like a thing yet. And when he died, I became the vice president of the ministry, and I started looking at different things that we could do, you know, like what had advanced and where were we behind, because we did have such a difficult time. So I looked at the YouTube channel, and there were, I think, 12,000 followers on it. And we've grown it to 300,000 because we started to actually post his prophecies from there. There wasn't much posted. Again, they weren't using it. And so, yes, I'm going to explain. I'm nervous. I'm scared. Is it still up? Okay. No, it's okay. Just leave it down. It's okay. So you saw the picture. Okay, so I'm scrolling through Twitter. I'm stumbling because I'm scared of saying it. Because if I say it, I might get in trouble. Because here's the thing: when I tried to search this, I had a really hard time. There was hardly anything on YouTube. If you do a Google search, nothing. It's like very sparse. But they are called. Okay, I'm just going to say it. They're called the Khazarian Mafia. Pull up the news thing. Let me get the picture. Oh, I can't believe I've done it. Trey Smith told me not to. Yes, the news one. This one. Okay, so he's going to pull that up for you. You see this? I don't know. This is all I could find. So maybe this is wrong. This is what it says. You guys tell me what you think, okay? I'm going to be looking at the comments. The Bolsheviks were actually created and deployed by the Khazarian Mafia as the essential part of their long-planned revenge on the Russian Tsar and the innocent Russian people for breaking up Khazaria in 1000 AD for its repeated robbery, murder, and identity theft of travelers from countries surrounding Khazaria. This little-known fact explains the extreme violence taken out on Russia as long-standing revenge by the Rothschild-controlled Khazarian Mafia. Now, that picture you just saw also is associated with the same thing. Let's call them KM. We're not going to say it again. And when I told Trey Smith, I got Trey Smith on the phone, because of course you wouldn't. If you got Trey Smith's number and you're dealing with stuff like this, that's who you're going to call. One of them anyway. I called General Flynn as well. And General Flynn, I just asked him, I said, do you know who they are? And he replied to me that they are a very dark religious order. And so I told him the information that I'm telling you. But I have not shared these videos with him. I'm going to send them to him when we're done today. I'll send them over to General Flynn, see what he says. So then there's the other video. So there's more to this. So then a year later, it's almost exactly a year later, my dad's prophesying, and he's shouting about the trumpet, which is Trump. He didn't. It wasn't like Trump was out yet, because this is March of 2015, so there was no Trump talk yet. Trump hadn't come down the escalator, none of that. But he was shouting, "Do you hear the sound of the trumpet?" And he had the guy playing the trumpet, and it was a beautiful. I mean, it was an incredible meeting. He had the black with the thing on. You're about to see. I only included a very short section of this day, and there was so much prophesied there, but it would take us. It's off topic. Again, he's prophesying about other things, just like what you just saw in 2014. So it's a year later. This is March 28th of 2015. So the first prophecy I played you was March 20th of 2014 to March 28th. It's a week and a year and like 8 days, a year and a week, year and 8 days. He prophesies, and he's also prophesying about terrorists. I think he said something about Jihadi John and all kinds of things, but I didn't keep that in because I only want you to hear this part. Play it.
Mashu Galeh. Mashu Galeh is a name that I'm hearing. Machu Galeh. Hidden away, but shall be exposed.
All right, guys, I'm just answering someone here. So you heard him say that, okay? Mashu Galeh. I have searched that name everywhere. For years I've listened for it. I don't know how to spell it because he never wrote that down. He heard that in that moment. What you just saw, he heard it in the moment. He never said it again. It was just this random, not too random, because he was talking about terrorism. So again, it's a terrorist organization, but they don't appear to be Muslim terrorists. And they're connected with the Rothschilds or controlled by the Rothschilds. And he sees one in the middle of them, which is what we saw in the last prophecy, who says, "We will create the most exquisite, formidable terrorist organization." And he sees maroon color, and he sees the symbol, which you just saw in the first picture. And now you heard him prophesy this name, Mashu Galeh. Now, who knows anything about this? I'm looking now because there's a delay, so it takes a second. Will Zoll on Substack has a whole Prussia Gate series that Patrick Gunnels. I don't know any of those things. Thank you. A lot of people are saying this. Other people. P. Gunnels. Who's that? We got to find him. Wait. Someone's saying, I knew it. That's why they are fighting in Ukraine. They are part of it. These people are descendants of the Canaanites. I knew it. Baal worshippers. So this goes back to this thing. Right? Doesn't it? Or am I wrong? It says, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not but lie. Indeed, I will make them come and worship before your feet to know that I have loved you. This is another thing in Revelation. It's just like in Revelation 13 where it says, the river Euphrates will dry up so that the armies of the east can march upon the west. The river Euphrates, I'm sitting here, I'm telling everybody, oh no, it's fine, it's not drying up. And then I go look, and it is drying up. And the armies of the east are marching on the west. Pressure Gate. Write it down. I'm so excited. Thank you. I'm writing this down so I don't forget. Because I could come, I might not be able to find it in the comments later. They get pretty full. Pressure Gate and Patrick Gunnels. No idea what any of this is. So I'm going to be looking at it this week. I can give you an update next week. And next week I'm going to have Jackson Lawmeyer with me. He's going to join us on this live next week because we're featuring Jackson Lawmeyer for the entire month of August at our church service, our mid-week church service on Wednesdays. We have Pastor Fawn, our worship team. We do a church service every Wednesday. Dad never liked to do it on a Sunday because he wanted people to go to church. So he didn't have anything on a Sunday, but he did his broadcast on a Saturday. But midweek we would do a church service, but really more that's focused on teaching, biblical teaching, which is so important. So Jackson Lawmeyer, we've decided to feature him for the entire month of August. So every single Wednesday in the month of August, go to the House of Destiny, the online church, and he's going to be teaching on Revelation, which is quite fitting since got a lot of revelation today. So anyway, he's going to be teaching on Revelation all 4 weeks of August, which is awesome. And let me tell you what incredible. I was so blown away when I found out that he's only 32 years old. I'm 43, okay? So I'm 11 years older than him. He's the same age as my brother. He must be, because I'm 11 years older than my brother. Anyway, his accomplishments, it's so incredible. He's just such a great guy. He ran for Senate, and he was so young. You have to be 30, and he was 29. He didn't get it, but he's young. He needs to keep trying. I mean, this is a leader you want, okay? Because this is a godly leader, and he is so anointed, and he's looking at the right things. I've been to his church. I presented my dad's prophecies at his church last year. I love his church. They're in Oklahoma. And I mean, Jackson's such a great guy too. He's just such a down. I mean, my husband and him text back and forth and joke. I don't even know what goes on with them. But we are interviewing him, and then we're going to feature him for the month. So he's going to be on Conversations. He's going to come here next Friday and be on this live with us. He'll join us so we can talk to him about some of these things, see what he thinks. And then he'll be featured all month. And I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to tell you. Okay, I've got Prussia Gate, Patrick Gunnels with we'll call him the KM. I'm nervous about saying it because I don't want to lose my channel here on YouTube. Because really it's been like walking a tightrope, not losing this channel. Remember when I did I can't even say two presidents. If I say the two presidents prophecy, we're not monetizing. We no ads. We're not monetizing on this today. We just don't do ads on things that we're worrying about. But anyway, I found this prophecy. This is after the 2020 election, right in that little bit of time there. Remember, before the inauguration, and I came out and I am I lost? Okay, sorry everybody. I knocked this out of my ear, and if I lose this, then everything turns off. I keep forgetting it's even there. Okay. It is like a puzzle. Adrian says it's like a puzzle, right? So we've got, let's recap. Okay, we've got maroon color, diamond, and a triangle. Now, if you pull that picture up again. Now have a look at this. I'm actually going to scroll down a bit so I can see, because I can't see what you guys are seeing today. Oh, no, this isn't even on. Oh, that's okay. That doesn't matter. As long as everybody can see me. So this has been the thing, guys. Just show it to me there. I want to look at it. Okay. All right, have a look at that. There's a maroon color. They're clothed. And the symbol in the center of his head, which is very fitting as well, is a diamond, like my dad saw. Remember he said, a diamond, a triangle. And both of those are in that image with the maroon and the green color. And this is, someone was tweeting about the Khazarian Mafia and put that picture up. And that's what got my attention, scrolling through Twitter. As soon as I saw that picture, I heard my father's voice. Maroon color, diamond, triangle. Terrorist organization. The big one. The one who would say, I have exalted myself above the stars of God. There it is. So we found it. But what does it mean? So this is the thing, is I'm so... Okay, people are agreeing. All right. The Masons logo is a brown diamond shape. Okay. Masons logo. That's important too. Brown diamond, because I think they're connected. It's unfortunate we're having to do things this way because of all the secrecy. You know, I think that the abuse of declassification of information has gone too far. I understand, like military strategy, you don't want the enemy knowing what you're going to do. So you need to classify that. Innocent people that are involved in things that might, that's fine. But actual information that affects all of the people on Earth, we deserve to know what is going on. And these people have abused using the laws of men so that they can have an excuse to every time they have to answer for anything in a court of law, they just say, oh, I can't answer, that's classified. So you can't answer anything. What we've seen, what I have seen since I've been paying attention for the past decade, I would say, you ask for classified information, they release it, but everything's black. You can't read anything. It's pages and pages of everything blacked out because they're covering their own backsides. And I think that this is conspiracy theories today, so let's just do it. I think that Donald Trump could possibly have had information that incriminates these people with those classified documents that they are now trying to charge him for stuff with. I think he got stuff on them, and that's why they're doing this to him. It's not just to stop the election, it's also because he's about to expose them. And I hope that's what's going on. I don't know if that is what's going on, because, I know these people, but that doesn't mean too much. Like I've met Eric Trump, and if I see Eric somewhere, I can go up and say hello to Eric, but I don't call Eric Trump on the phone. So I'm not really hanging out with him like that. So this is stuff I wouldn't know. Now, if I ever meet, I will meet Donald Trump, and when I do meet Donald Trump, I have got a list of questions, and you guys feel free to give me ideas on questions. Because I'd be quite happy to sit down and say, lovely to meet you, Mr. President. We've got questions. So who knows? I don't know how that would go, because if I'm this nervous around Mike Lindell, I probably would just keel over if Donald Trump. I certainly wouldn't be. I would have to get comfortable, when you first meet somebody. Anyway, who knows if I'll ever meet him. It's not about who I meet. God opens the doors that he means to be open for me. And I believe that he's given me access behind the scenes here a little bit, because otherwise we would have no way of knowing what was going on with some of these prophecies. And because of this little bit of access that I have, and that's thanks to Clay Clark, number one. General Flynn is my friend, and so is Roger Stone, and I can text them and ask them questions. And sometimes I ask General Flynn stuff, and he doesn't answer, and then I know, well, that's probably classified, and he's not allowed to share it. So that's okay, because I've asked him all sorts of things. I've asked General Flynn if there are giants in Iraq and Afghanistan, because that's where he was, like all his whole military career. That he was in Iraq, and I used to say he lives in Iraq and vacations in Afghanistan. Like he was there in the middle of all of that. So he knows stuff, but he can't always say everything he knows. He's not allowed. He was very high up in the military. I think one of the highest positions you can have. So have we? So is our time running out? Okay, well let's wrap it up. I did share the prophecies. I've shared all the news. So let's just end with that then. We'll talk about where's my phone? We'll talk about Iraq. Okay. I'll do it quick. This is what we need to know. I've been doing this thing on Twitter. If you don't follow my Twitter, I don't want to lose this information. If you don't follow me on Twitter and you use Twitter, I know everybody doesn't, but if you do use Twitter, that's the one I use because of the news. I'm not very into socializing on social media. I don't care. But what I do like to do on social media is get information. And because we can no longer trust the mainstream media, what we need to do then is figure out what's going on for ourselves. So we ask God to help us with discernment and to see, of course, we ask God first, but also I've found that the new way of doing it, and I'm sure I'm just stating the obvious here, is that you find the people you can trust and follow them. So the news headlines I read to you earlier is Tara I forget her last name on Twitter, but I've been following her since the Twitter files were released because she's reliable. I found her to be reliable. I may not agree with everything she says, but she's reliable. She gives the information, the facts. Dinesh D'Souza, Glenn Beck, Dan Bongino, John Solomon. These are voices I listen to as well as many. There's a lot of people. So what I do is if you go to my Twitter and you look who I'm following, just follow who I'm following if you want to see where I'm getting my news. Or you can follow me too. We do need RFK Jr. because he will deal with that medical side of things. And we just pray that God shows him the truth. always hear that about General Flynn. He knows where all the bodies are buried. What does that mean? What bodies? I like reading your comments here. I'm sorry. I'm just doing. Yeah, General Flynn can't tell, but he's very yeah, Laura Logan, Mama 1776. West Virginia Mountain Mama 7. That's what it is. I thought you were in Montana. Okay, West Virginia Mountain Mama. That sounds cool. Okay. Do you ever see any strange creatures out there in the mountains in West Virginia? Because I believe that there are. I think this is another conspiracy theory. I have nothing to back this up. This is my own observation, and I could be completely wrong. So don't quote me. But I am suspicious that they have got some of these labs in these national parks, and they are experimenting with mixing human genetics with animal genetics. And so you hear all these stories about the Wendigo and the Wolfman and the Mothman. And I found this out actually completely independently of anything I do. I just like to listen to people tell stories. And so oftentimes when I'm working, I like to have something in the background. And I follow these people on YouTube who read emails that people just send in their stories. And the person who runs the YouTube channel just reads the emails, and it's stories. And you don't even see the person, you just see B-roll of stuff. And you just hear their voice with captions, and they read a story. So I like stories. I'm a writer, and I'm a sucker for a good story. So, and these are true stories because people, well, they may not be true. People are just emailing them. And so maybe they're true, maybe they're not. But an alarming amount of people are seeing these strange creatures in national parks that appear to be large, very, very large animals, and then they can stand upright like humans. And some people think it's mythological creatures. I do not believe that. I think that remember Jesus said, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be when the Son of Man returns. And what was the thing that was going on in the days of Noah? The sons of heaven were laying with the women of earth, making the Nephilim. Genetic things were going on. Mixing of genes. Like, look at Greek mythology. In any ancient mythology, you got the half a horse, half man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think those were myths. I think people were doing something. Maybe they were more advanced. Look how advanced we've gotten in the last 100 years. It's not impossible to think that people could have advanced, maybe not in the same way, but something was going on. Whatever it was, they were messing with God's genetic code, which is God's, that's God's, and they messed with it. Now, fast forward to where we are now, and you've got Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum talking about genetic editing, and Elon Musk saying, oh, we can turn you into a butterfly if you want. So it's like, what have they figured out? Because they're keeping it a secret from us. They're not telling us the truth. And then you have these. Now, one of the stories was this person said that they were trying to mix human DNA with animal DNA, but transfer it via a virus. Again, I don't know if this is true. I just heard a story. But it made me think about that. And it made me think, what are they doing out there? There's an extraordinary number of people who have sightings of these things. Extraordinary. It's all the same story, too. It's an animal. I thought it was a bear. It was really big. It stood upright. Well, this guy tells a story about they tried to do this to a pig, okay? They're in this lab in the middle of a national park. I don't know if this is a true story. I just heard it. And he said that they were testing to see if they could transfer human genetics via a virus. Now, I don't even know if that's possible. I'm not a scientist. But he said that's what they were doing. They tried with a pig, and the goal was to give the pig human genetics in the way that it would make the pig stand up, right? On 2 legs. It didn't work. The pig grew an extra 2 legs. So he now had 4 legs, and he was crawling sideways like a crab. So they decided to let this pig go out into the wild and see how he does in nature, and also to see if he can transfer this virus to another animal. So they watch him. They've got a tracker on him. They watch him a few days, and then it stops. The tracker freezes for a while. So they go out to where it is, and they find there's this bear eating the pig now. So they capture the bear, take him back to the lab, put him in a cage. Within a few weeks, he's standing up straight and had gone like crazy. I think they had to kill the bear. The point being, they're messing with genetics. And you're seeing these strange creatures, and you're hearing strange stories. Here's someone. You see, I'm not the Nephilim. That's right. You guys have heard the story about the soldiers that had to capture the Nephilim giant in the cave. Well, they just said it was a giant, a red-haired giant with 6 fingers, this massive thing. These soldiers went in, and it ended up like impaling people, and they had to kill it. And they took it off in a helicopter, and it had a terrible smell. I don't know if that's true either. I've just heard that for years and years. It's like the soldiers' story that they tell. But Matthew 6:33 says they're seeing those Egyptian things like the dog and a human hiker saw one in the mountains of Colorado. BP Barry, regarding the triangle and the maroon, I don't know why, I just keep hearing Yuval Noah Harari terrorist genetically altered animal DNA. Yes! Look, if they're doing it with human genetics, they must have tried with animal genetics first. Why wouldn't they? They test everything else on animals. They do need to be exposed, Karen. I've never spoken to David Nino Rodriguez, no. But I know his name. I don't know who he is, though. I'll have a look. I'm running out of time here. So I'm wanting to get all your comments, and I wanted to throw that at you. And also the one other thing. Yeesh, I don't think I have time to go all the way there. Okay, in Hillary Clinton's emails, there is an email from the Department of Defense where they are requesting from her the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh and the information on the Nephilim in Iraq. Now, right before the Iraq war, before we invaded America and everybody invaded Iraq, everybody went scrambling over there. 2 months before that, there was a group of German archaeologists who excavated an area that had previously been covered by the Euphrates River. And because they were damming off sections, it was dried up. And these guys went in, these German archaeologists went in, they excavated, and they say that they found the tomb of Gilgamesh, which would also be then Gilgamesh equals Nimrod. So we're going to Babel. So we're going to, right after the flood, Nimrod equals Gilgamesh. Now, I've heard this. I did an extensive study of the Epic of Gilgamesh when I was in college, and I mean, there was a whole semester that was the only thing we read. I know the Epic of Gilgamesh very well. I know a lot of this information from just learning things at school. Yes, Noah is the false. Yuval Noah Harari is the false prophet. If I ever meet Yuval Noah Harari, I don't think I'll be able to even speak. I think my hand's just going to go straight around his throat and squeeze for the blasphemies that have come out of his mouth. Oh, you guys are full of information. I'm going to be going through these comments afterwards. I don't have time to do it while I'm live, but I am going to. They are sick people. The Greeks worshipped. Man, West Virginia Mountain Mama. We got to hang out. She is on today. Okay, Nimrod is the Tower of Babel. So he was the leader, the king of Babel. And he created the Tower of Babel, which then God intervened and separated the languages and the whole thing. So this is a very old story, this. And I think we're actually starting to see the manifestations of some of it, because they say that they found. Now, there's the video that came out in 2011 where they show you this man in the gold. I'm sure a lot of you've seen it. The man in the gold, and then there's he looks like he's in a tomb, but he's not decayed at all. And they say that they found these two things, and one of them, they opened it up and the guy was still alive, and they opened it up and he died instantly. And then the other one was like that. In that little video that came out, I would have to find the video for you, but it's someone filming, and they say this is the Gilgamesh thing that was found. So it puts into question, what were those weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Because if they had figured out something, and I think it has to do with portals. I think Babel, it's described as reaching heaven. I often think, I wonder if it was a portal, which would have required of them being much more technologically advanced than we have previously been led to believe. But I don't think that's off. Mythical gods with the fallen angels. This is Rindala saying that. It makes so much sense. Oh, you guys have helped me a lot today. I'm glad I did it like this. Okay, we will revisit. We're running out of time. We'll revisit Iraq next week. I'm going to look into it a little bit more. Were the, because you know they said, oh, they didn't find any weapons of mass destruction. Were they not maybe biological weapons or nuclear weapons? Is it possible that they were a different kind of weapon? And maybe, you know, maybe it wasn't bad that they stopped Saddam Hussein from having, because he was a lunatic, skinning his own people and all sorts of things. You know, Saddam Hussein maybe wouldn't have been the right person to be able, you know, he probably had his hands on this, whatever they discovered there, and maybe America and England and all these other countries said, Saddam can't have that, he's a lunatic. So they had to stop him, and they couldn't tell us. But then what did they open up? What did they open up at CERN? Because I've been worried about CERN since they opened CERN. And I know there were other particle colliders over the decades that were trying to put together. But did they do something? Because we'd left Iraq by then. So as soon as they went in with the Iraq war, they cordoned off that section that was being excavated. They sent those German archaeologists away. And the United States military, and this is true, went in and took everything away. So whatever they found there. And then many, many years later, we see in Hillary Clinton's email, the Department of Defense asking about the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh and the Nephilim in Afghanistan or in Iraq. What is this? This was an official, this was her private, this wasn't a public thing. It was her private emails. There's something. Okay, so, okay, this is what we're going to do. God, we are gathered together today, code breaking and looking at conspiracies. And so in the coming week, before we meet again next week, I ask you to give us all clarity and direction and discernment, and present to us what we need to see, and open the doors that need to be opened so we can see the truth. Because at this stage, that is what we seek, Father. So we ask you to rest upon what we are doing and to guide us in your will, that we not be deceived and that we not deceive one another, but that we find the truth. And I pray this in your precious name. Amen. Okay, everybody? That's all I have time for today. I'm sure I've left you with a lot to think of because I'm sitting here holding my head. But we will see you next week. I know Robin Bullock, and I know what he's saying about CERN. You know what? We watch CERN because what if they opened a portal? And what if when you look at like the Travis Scott concert, what happened at that concert? And his whole stage looked like a portal. And in the middle it says, we'll see you on the other side. And if you watch the video of the concert, he's standing there while people are dying in front of him. His fans are screaming to him, stop, stop. People are dying. He can see the ambulances. And he's kept going. And above the thing was a dark figure walking. And I wonder, has something come through? Have they communicated with some dark entity? There are satanic rituals at CERN. Every time they have an opening ceremony, it's some weird satanic ritual. I thought these were scientists. They should be in white coats, you know, with a glass of champagne, clipping the red ribbon. They shouldn't be doing this. These odd, and why are they putting the statues up that they're putting? I know. My dad was there at Davos. He said, he pointed over that whole region. He said, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. He saw it fall. He saw the Fourth Reich rise and fall. He saw things that weren't taken care of from the Second World War. And many of us fear the third. So, anyway, that's that. Yes, I had no idea who Travis Scott was either. I can see people. Apparently a rapper. He looked, I mean, the first time I ever saw him was when I saw this coverage of what happened at the concert the other night. I was watching with my husband because I'd heard, but I'd never seen what happened. And man, he just looks like one of those people that just do whatever they tell him for money. And I'm sure he'd be quite happy to skip around with the devil. I know I'm slouching because I'm done. You see, this is my retired for the day look. Okay, I better go, guys. I've actually run out of time. I'm just waffling on now. I want to make sure if anybody says anything, I catch you. Thank you so much for sharing with me. And we will do some more code breaking. And again, like I said next week will be Jackson Lawmeyer. Do not miss tomorrow at the House of Destiny Conversations. We'll be up in the middle of the night, so when you get up tomorrow, please watch. Mom and I interviewed Mike Lindell of MyPillow. And MyPillow is sponsoring us now. and also Beverly Hills Precious Metals. And you saw me with Andrew Sorcini last week. And so we covered that. We've got the 2 sponsors. This is something completely new for us. We only started doing because we saw other ministries doing it. And, it hasn't been very easy for us without my dad. So we do try to do our best. And you'll see at the end of this, you'll see the ads with all the information. So again, don't miss Conversations with Michael and Dell. Be up tomorrow. It was super fun doing that. And I finally have met him, and it was very nice. He's very easy. You're going to like him. You're going to like what happened. So we got that. And also, I will be this month, the 25th and 26th of this month, which is a Friday and Saturday, I will be in Las Vegas. I am presenting my dad's prophecies at the Reawaken America tour with Clay Clark and General Flynn and Roger Stone and all the people that go to that. Michael and Dell's there. I told him that I'm going to go meet him actually off in person, shake his hand for the first time properly. And so we'll be doing that. And I think that's everything. Is that everything? Don't miss Israel update. And Christy's been going live, so look for Christy because she's been updating everybody on the stuff. There's a lot going on in Israel. So Israel update is on our network, if you don't know that. And those are released every Friday. And if you don't know how to get there, we are on social media platforms. So if you search Kim Clement or House of Destiny, Facebook, Instagram, all of them, YouTube, and Rumble, where you're going to see the broadcast. And we air those there. You can follow me on Twitter at Donne Petro. I don't need to write it down. Find me on Twitter. I'm there. Do follow me there because that's the only one I use. And what I do is all week long, I'm posting news articles that are interesting or that I want to save. Just whatever I find, I'm using Twitter kind of to save information and find information. I rarely comment, although sometimes. Yesterday I went off about climate change. But if you use Twitter or now X, do follow me there at Donne Petro. My mother is on Telegram. That's the one she uses. So if you're a Telegram person, look for my mother Jane, and you'll find her there. Maybe we should repost how to follow us on the social medias. We'll do that. And I think that's everything. Okay. I love all of you. Thank you so much for all the... I'm looking over here because this is where your comments are. For all of the input. And I'm going to go through these comments afterwards today. Oh, someone's actually called Club of Rome. You clever one. Club of Rome. Interesting, isn't it? Okay. I'm just waffling on now. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me. Come back next week. We'll recap some of this stuff, and Jackson Lawmeyer will see what he thinks. And okay, we're done. Okay.
My name is Jane Clement, and I am the president of the House of Destiny Network.
My name is Donne Clement Petrushka, and I am the vice president of the House of Destiny Network. My dad used to have a thing called $5 in your face offering. And he did that because he understood that sometimes people might be sitting there saying, well, I only have a little bit to give. But I often use the analogy of a car engine. You know, everybody feels like maybe they're not too important, or maybe their little part they're playing is small, or what can I do as I see these things going on around me? And you may think that that's a little bit, but it's a huge amount when we come together and support one another. And so just as little as $5 can help us with our missions. It can help us with just keeping these prophecies, all these prophecies that came through my dad, coming to you. And it takes quite a bit to be able to find it and edit it and present it. And so there's a whole staff of people that work very, very hard to make sure that we can get this information to you. And it is vital in this season because of what was prophesied. And so, again, you may feel that $5 is not much, but it's something. And then you are a part of something and a part of doing something where you may feel like it's, there's nothing you can do. There is something you can do. You can support the people who God has put at the front lines, who are actively making a difference.
I first met Kim in 1978. The price of gold back then was $200 an ounce. Today, it's gone up to $2,000 an ounce.
I can tell you inflation is a real thing because in a very short period of time, just living in the state of Tennessee, I had moved from California. I could see the difference when I moved here, just in the grocery store, and since 2020, the way prices have risen, it's not much different than when I lived in California now.
To schedule a consultation with Beverly Hills Precious Metals, go to bh-pm.com and make an appointment today.
One thing about Mike Lindell, and this is going back to many, many years, we like to support people like him because, number one, he's a Christian in the marketplace, which is something that my dad not only prophesied a lot about, but really truly believed in. And so for many years, our ministry has supported Mike Lindell for being a Christian, but also supporting one another. It makes us stronger against those big tech people who are backed by billions of dollars, that together we can make a difference and get a message out there.
By using the promo code Kim Clement, you're not only supporting Mike Lindell, but you're also helping us reach the unreachable, touch the untouchable, and reach the world with the gospel.
This was sacred to God.
Now is the time to act.
This is exactly why I need some action from my people.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be with you.